Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, and this is a check-in and channel, actually. I thought it very amusing that it was the Sanat Kumara group that decides to list my some of the reasons why somebody might, poo-poo the work. And it was it made me laugh out loud what they said. Hey, don't listen to this lady. Look at her. She's obviously crazy, and nothing that she says makes any sense at all. And she's ugly, and she doesn't brush her hair. Don't abide by what she has to say. I thought that was the funniest thing. I hoot every time I hear that. Maybe that's why I'm having trouble putting a brush through it. It just like I don't know. So I want to sort of capsulize, and then I will probably be re-recording one last time in the evening. 1:11. There may be one at noon. I don't know. Possibly. When I woke up this morning, I had a bit of that feeling. I didn't mention it in the video, and I really should have. That was part of the point. This sense of the reality of unreality and the unreality of reality. I have had a number of just, I would have to call them downloads, or another way to describe it would be a rapid or real-time response in pictures and full-on understandings when I ask a question. So that's been kind of fun. I have had a few questions because what I've revealed is quite astounding, isn't it? And one of them was, okay, well, I really didn't think very highly of myself. And one of the things that I had was I saw my life, and I saw 3 nodes of light that were of a quality that actually two that proved to me that love was possible. The third actually was a dream, but I had gone to sleep asking, what's love? There's all this talk about it, and I don't know what it is. This is kind of weird. And I was a kid, and boy, did I have a dream. And it dawned on me yesterday how that all came together and what that means, and that actually was a vision. And I always knew it was real. I didn't realize it would be a friend, and that it would be a lesson. I thought it was mine, that dream. But it's all tied to this lesson of loving and being loved, of having a partnership, which was, of course, like my cross to bear, and pretty much the only thing that was not on the drop-down menu in my last life. It just wasn't. It couldn't happen. It couldn't happen. Nope. There was just way, way, way too much else. And so they've given me a lot of information, and it's been very gentle, and it's been like waves of it, and it's surprising. It's all connected, but it's very dense. And one of the things I understand is that it's just really pretty. They showed me the numbers and of the waves of ascension. It was crazy. 1956, 1994, 2017. I ran the numbers. They're all pretty significant to me. Wow. Wowie zowie. And then I was able to put some numbers to the work that I started doing with the Brotherhood. It began in my 22nd year, And it basically ended that part of the tutelage 11 years later, in my 33rd year, when the teachers ascended. And then I went 22 years, in essence, in the desert, without help. They'd keyed me for what I was to do. I didn't realize it would take so long. It's a good thing they didn't tell me, or I wouldn't have done it. They told me I was going into the desert, and that my job was to rise above it, to ascend from it, and to stand as an example. Well, she can do it, so can I. And I understood while I was being trained just how safe I was, that this wasn't a survival lifetime, and I had a job to do. So I continued doing my job, which was, as a nurse, to simply live and experience. And I did. It was always hard. I never understood what I was doing, but I did it. I tried really hard to connect, and did so quite expertly at times, if one-to-one, and with a kind of person who understood me. And if not, it just didn't go very well. Once the basic needs were met, once the needs were met, then the other stuff would come up. And I had a destroyer personality. I just did. What did smash? What does Hulk say? Smash, smash. At the first insecurity or anxiety, I'm gonna burn this mother to the ground. Yeah, this ain't gonna do. So yeah, it was I think that now I realize today, all right, well, that's nice to review. And it's okay to review one last time. But I keep seeing a shrouded figure. And today the imagery was even more solemn. It feels like Good Friday when you're really participating in the whole psychodrama. It's a big day. I find it beautiful that today is Sunday. It's the third day. I don't know why there's 3 days. I don't even know what sparked that. But I do know that the beginning of all this began with my son being ill enough to need to present him for diagnosis at the least. Treatment was not required, thankfully. And that really did set a tone of finality, truly, of really, truly walking step by step. Understanding fundamentally that I have no real right to this step and that step and that step. This is something that's being created, and I need to be here, participating, and grateful. And so what happens? I mean, they mentioned resurrection. And frankly, after the amount of pain that I felt and generated, I don't know, I was thinking I just don't want that back, right? And they told me, hey, that's you're not seeing it clear. Okay, you need to see it more clearly. And so we are going to help with this, okay? Why? Because you may be going through similar things. There is a review process for some, which we would say that we have seen demonstrated through this work, was for some quite intense. They were of the first wave, and their job was to clear the collective of energy. And there were many who had this kind of ability and were keyed for this, and they did this, and they knew that they were not to own the strong feelings and the waves of reality that would come upon them and through them. They understood because they were energetic masters, and so of course they understood this was part of their job while awake, because these are the ones who of course use their dream time to work. And we say they, but we are talking about you, dear one. Yes, of course, we are talking about you too. There is no exclusivity. No, that is not the idea, and that was the point of this sad life. What other reason would there be for this? This one is quite functional, you know. It is the same message that we would give her when, acting in a way she did not understand and seemed involuntary when around the Sam. And it did not seem as if this behavior was very helpful, and yet it was the only thing, it was the only option. And it was highly distressing as a mother, as a child of harsh behavior and unthinkingness, lack of subtlety at times. And this child is anything but crude, highly subtle. And we told her, well, this is the coding there, this is the karma, this is what he has chosen to hear, chosen as a reality. It is not true, of course. However, if it is being pulled from your chest and out your mouth, we would suggest it may be something the other needs to hear and not something you need to say. So let it be, let it roll. It will all work out in the end. For you know this is not from your heart, it's from somewhere else. And it's true, this was a time when the prison walls needed to appear very, very thick and menacing, and there had to be no hope of escape. Okay, dear one. All right. For comfort was never truly accepted. Neither was help. Fine. Go for it. We will still be here. We and a higher nature are waiting. Could it be this could be applied to a lifetime, which is highly significant and has many memories and is far more fresh than some? Yes, we would like to move the thinking along a little bit, because there are others who will be dealing with this too, and so we say, what happens when you transition but you don't leave your body? Isn't that what ascension is? Yes, that's what ascension is. And so the death motif, isn't that quite interesting? It's quite strong. Because a death is happening. We show this one. The return occurred a month later. A physical body had what could be called a near-death experience, what some might wind up calling a walk-in, what others call an ascension, and what she called a conversion. She understood. She always knew. That was when she would have died. That is when she did die. That is when she did die. So what we are saying is that the magnetics, there was a light interruption, not a magnetic interruption, and so what we have been giving again and again and again and again and again is this idea that there is diminishing amounts of, so to speak, of this reality available, it isn't as strong. It is not like the compulsion to say a silly thing to the son, which will hurt him. There is no other way. There are no other words. What the heck is going on? Well, there's a magnetic lock you can do nothing about because it's a karmic lock, and it is by request and agreement. But when this is broken, then don't you know there are certain times when there is a critical mass reached in the brain or in the body or in the habitus, and what could not be understood is suddenly open for understanding. When you were 7, you knew that your parents were affectionate, we hope. And some understood that they were sexual as well. True. And time passes, and as one actually expresses sexuality with the body and has orgasm with another, they are no longer what they once were. They have more knowledge. They have more personal experience. Yes. Which in this consciousness, this energy is then compared to the outside, to the experts who write books about what's right and wrong in relationship and stuff like that, to friends who might be lost as all heck and involved in brutal relationships with others. Why would you seek counsel from someone like that, involved in that kind of thing? It's not very wise. You just are not what you once were. Well, you know, the first time that you have sexual relations with someone, you have to make a bunch of decisions, and you have to do something that is, the first time, it would appear quite outrageous and bizarre and new, yet rewarding, exhilarating, perhaps for some a little dangerous, or at least it feels that way. And you can begin to understand the psyche of your parents, the psyche of the media, the psyche of your friends, and you begin to see that there is a future that you didn't understand. There are drives now you didn't appreciate might move you. Well, good. Why do we equate it with sex? Well, we say that the sexual energy is a highly creative energy, and it is blocked with shame and fear and this reflective, projective consciousness. But we say, when done with love, isn't that where babies come from? It is a potent force. And this particular flowering is often called a coming of age. Right? It is a stripping away of innocence in a way. And then innocence returns. So we say, yes, there was a light break for this one in May of 2012, but there has been a long period of argument and finality of finishing up and reviewing and publishing, of puzzling it through and giving it away, all of that. Through it, much has been discovered, and now it can be put aside and lived, not examined, but merely enjoyed. This was the purpose of the incarnation. Once the purpose is complete, is the incarnation not complete? Consider this a time of finishing up. Does this mean that this one dies? Well, although this motif is quite strong, there are things coming that you don't understand. You bring your attention to end on the crop circle just given. How obvious do you need it, dear ones? There will be codes delivered. There will be a ray. Much will be encapsulated, packaged within geometries. Enough is given for you to unlock and walk through each and every one of those nodes of knowledge. It is not as if they are being withheld from you. You have a key in both hands. Start opening doors. This is the message behind the crop circle, you know. There are two symbols. You can put one in each hand. And as quickly as you wish, lickety split, or over years, you may enter each of the chambers delivered to you. Does that involve intention? Yes. Does it involve skill? Well, that's the funny thing. These doors, they are a million tons. They are impossible to open. And yet the idea is that you walk there with the key and you start putting it near the lock and the door springs open. Okay? So do not fear and do not imagine that you are outgunned, so to speak. There is enough for all those two keys. Well, if you have them in both hands and you see doors that have locks which appear to correlate with what is in your hands, and you know what to do, well then enjoy. And quick as a sprite, unlock each and every door and join us in the sun. The partitions, after all, are squares in a sort of energy, don't you see? They are projections of consciousness. And although the compartments may tickle ideas of hierarchical or incremental knowledge, we say no. This knowledge is complete. It is by opening the door you receive it. It is by knowing you can that you find the door. And you are not in the dark anymore. The sun is streaming upon you. And you are more protected, more cherished. Far more important that you may know. Perhaps with these keys in your hand, you will be able to learn this too. So, if everyone gets their two keys, well, everyone has two-strand DNA, don't they? The mechanics of the thing. The hands, the arms. All right, get to work. We say the partitions between these pieces of knowledge will burn off a little bit too. You'd be surprised. We are very gratified to see how strong a message you have given yourselves. It's quite obvious what you're trying to tell yourselves, yes? Yoo-hoo! Tomorrow is the big day. There is a part of this one holding back, not believing. It's hard to. It's very hard to. It's too important, and there can be no disappointment on this. No. And so, perhaps it is guarding against, and perhaps it is simply being honest. What we told you before, what you bring back consciously from this eclipse event is perhaps not what you will be receiving and understanding energetically. And we said, do not expect a big boop right in the middle of the thing. Do not expect anything. Expect an eclipse that covers the United States, Alaska and Hawaii included. For those who can see the keys in their hands that glow blue and are so pretty in gold. Well, good for you. See before you a beautiful, beautiful city of light. And truly, these doors are transparent. They swing open. They welcome you. And each chamber proves to you the chamber doesn't exist, and you walk on. We leave you in much love. We have many things that we are going to do to set the energy for tomorrow, and it's very happy times. Each one going into the eclipse with the level of anticipation and certainty. This one filling with wonder and curiosity, merely curiosity. This, we would say, is the stance of a very cherished and loved child of innocence who loves to play and laugh and discover. And we are happy to see her return. So perhaps you consider yourself a little child as it begins to get darker. What is going on? And then it gets super dark. Oh, this is hard. And then it begins to possibly get a little lighter. Oh, don't go. Oh, I like that so much. Don't go. And the light comes back. Dark and light, merely metaphor, clearly. For that crop circle shows you what will be emitted when the lights are down, and in some places out. Must you be in the path of totality to get the biggest bang for your buck? No. No. This one is being attended by so many entities. Yes, the last one was too, but people know about this one. They are ready for this one. And for many, they will connect with their innate, with the one who has been here since the beginning. And for many, the connection goes through that duh of the sun. All the way home. We leave you in happiness, love, light, sound, harmony, and certainty in your worth. Namaste.